In this video, I'm going to show you how to use OneEntry CMS and make the most out of it. I'm going to go ahead and download a template from Themeforest, and we are going to see how to use that Themeforest template along with the OneEntry CMS to get the best out of it. Let's move on to our computer screen. Let's get started. Alright, so guys, I'm inside of my computer screen, and the very first step that we are going to do is signing up on OneEntry. So all you have to do is click on this sign up. I'll give you a link in the description, and if you follow that link, you are going to get a discount as well. So you can put your name, you can then put your email address, and then you can put your phone number, and then you can agree to both of these. And once you sign up, you will get a code in your phone. So you have to pick up the phone and punch in the code, whatever the code is, and then your account will be created. After your account is created, you have to click on projects and create a new project, and then you can give it a name, give it a subdomain, and you can put in a promo code that will be in the description. If you are new to OneEntry, you are going to get this promo code, and if you use this promo code, you are going to get OneEntry project for free. This is only applicable for first project, so you can use it. And once you click on create, your project will start creating. Now project creation takes some time, so we are going to go to Themeforest and we are going to look for a template. Let me look for a template, Themeforest portfolio template, and I'm going to show you how to use Themeforest template with OneEntry. So there are a lot of templates. I'm going to pick one and I'm going to buy that template. You can always try this with free template if you want, but I'm going to find some premium template and I'm going to buy that template, and I'm going to use OneEntry with that template. Now this is a template that I really like. This is basically a portfolio React template, and it is a Next.js template, and you can see that there are a lot of designs that are already built. You can download the CV, and then about me looks pretty good to me. Plus this template is responsive. Let me show you. This is responsive, and I like this hamburger animation. So I'm going to buy this. Now you might say that why are we buying templates? We are ourselves web developers. See, the thing is that we are buying template because we are going to focus on a bigger problem. And let's focus on that bigger problem, which is managing backend. And that problem is also kind of solved when we have OneEntry. So let's see if our OneEntry project has finished. It is still creating this project, so it kind of takes 7 minutes. So we are going to wait for it. And in the meantime, I'm going to buy this template. So let's buy this template. I'll click on buy now. Alright, so clicking on buy now, and I'm going to punch in all the details, and then I'm going to create my account, and then I'm going to continue. So let's do one thing. Let's continue with Google. I'm going to continue with Google. Continue, and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to provide all the details to it. And after providing all the details, I'll be back. Now it is asking for my credit card details. I'm going to punch in all the details, and then I'll be back. So as you can see that this template is available, I can download this template, and I can download all files and documentation. So let's download this, and it has zipped it, and it is downloading all the files. So this is the template that I have received. Let's do one thing. Let's open this template. This is a template that I've received. I'll right click on this, and I'm going to extract all. So let's extract everything from this template. And once everything is extracted, yeah, so it has extracted inside a folder, and there are two folders here. One is Adina, one is documentation. Let's open their documentation and see how to get started. So let's do one thing. Let's try it out ourselves. So I'm going to open this in VS Code, and let's do yarn dev, and yarn install, yarn. And after yarn install, I'm going to run yarn dev. And now let's do yarn dev, and let's see if it is working or not. So yeah, this template is working. Let me click here, and yes, this is working. Download CV is working. This sample.pdf is downloading. Amazing. So this template is working pretty fine. Now we are going to see how we can integrate OneEntry inside this. Okay, so there are a lot of pages that we can manage as per our choice. So I'm going to delete some pages, and I'm going to keep some pages. Let's do one thing. Let's come back to this OneEntry. Our project is ready. Let's click here, and I'm going to show you how to do it using npm. So now I'm going to adjust this template so that we can use OneEntry with it. The very first thing that I'm going to do is I'll go to pages and I will show you how it looks like, and after that I'll do yarn dev, and this is how this template looks like at this point. I'm going to select one version of this template, which is home horizontal, and I will split all these menus into different pages. At this point, when you click on about, it scrolls down, and when you click on service, it scrolls down. Same goes for portfolio and testimonial as well. But I'm going to make sure that this opens on different pages. So let's create all those pages. So this is basically how my website now looks like. I have this home page, about page, and contact page. My template had a lot of pages, but these are the pages that I picked up so that I can explain you OneEntry and we can build a beautiful website using OneEntry. So let's understand everything one by one. Let's start from pages. So inside of pages, I have two pages here. I have created a home page and I've created an about page. This is the home page that I want to populate. Let me go to home, and this is the home page, and let us say this is the content that I want to populate. So let's call it introduction. I'll call this introduction, and I'll go to pages. And once you have created a home page in OneEntry, you can click on edit, and now you can attach an attribute to this page. I'll show you how that works. So we'll go to attributes and we can create an attribute. So we'll say that I want to create attribute, and I'll call it intro, home underscore intro, and marker is going to be home underscore intro, and this is going to be for pages, and let's create it. And once I create it, I'll click on settings, and I'll say the attribute name is home underscore intro, and the value of the attribute is hello I am. It's going to be string first of all, and I'll create it. Let's say home underscore intro. I'll say hi, which stands for home underscore intro. And once I have this attribute, I'm going to fill it. So let's refresh, and we are going to fill this attributes. So now if I come back to pages, I have this home intro attribute, and I'm going to fill the value of this as hello I am Rockers Nelson. Okay, so this is what I have saved. Now we'll come back to our CMS page where we have already logged in. We'll come to settings and we'll click on app tokens, and we are going to get one app token. So let's copy this app token, and we are going to install OneEntry package. So we'll say yarn add OneEntry, and also while I'm installing OneEntry, it is done. Great. So let's run yarn dev once again. So yarn dev once again, and I'll wait for all these pages to load, and yes, everything is working fine. You can also have this picture as a link. If you want to add an attribute where this picture is a link, you can do that as well. I'll show you how I can populate this I am Rockers Nelson. I'll come back to OneEntry documentation. I'll click on npm. I'll click on installation. We have done that. We'll click on usage now, and this is what I'm interested in. So I'll come back to my home page, which is index.js, and I'll say server side props. So we are going to write a function which is server side props, and no, we are not going to comment it out. We are going to write it. So let's say server side props is a function, and yes, we are going to return the props. And what are those props? I'm going to tell you what those props are, but before that we are going to copy the URL and we are going to populate our URL. So let's populate our URL. This is how you can populate the URL. Awesome. And I'm going to paste my token here. So I just got the token, and my token was copied to the clipboard, and then inside this lang code I'm going to say enus, and I'll extract out pages from it because I want pages, and I'll say await const pages is equal to pages dot get. I think pages dot get is the method, but we'll see the documentation. It's called pages dot get root pages. This is what I'm interested in. So I'll say pages dot get root pages, await pages dot get root pages, and we are going to pass in the pages. So we'll say pages. So pages can be received as a prop here, and once again we can pass pages to our hero section. So pages, and let's open hero and let's accept pages here, and just like we had this hero content here, we'll say I am pages dot and we'll find the attribute. So let's do one thing. Let's say use effect and let's write console.log pages, and we are going to simply complete this use effect. All right, so let's see if we are able to get the pages here. It says define one entry is not defined. We'll have to import it. That's not a problem. And yes, we can define one entry from one entry. This should work now. Define one entry is now working. And just so that you can see, I'll pull it, and as you can see, we have an array where we have two pages. Let me move myself here, and as you can see, we have two pages. The very first page is the home page, the second page is the about page. We can create contact page as well, but for now we have this page and about page. And where are the page attributes, by the way? So if you want to see the attribute values, this is the attribute value. So you'll say I want the attribute values and I want to extract out hi from it, and I want to extract out the value. So let's do one thing. We'll say pages 0. So instead of saying hello I am hero content dot name, I'm going to say this is pages 0, and then we need attribute values, and we need 0 dot value. Let's see if this is correct. So attribute values, then we need a hi from the attribute values, and then we need this value. Okay, so I'll say dot hi dot value, and let's see if this is being populated or not. And as you can see, this is being populated. Now this is coming from the CMS. It's not coming, it's not hard coded, or it's not coming from my source code. It's coming from the CMS, and I'll show you why it is coming from CMS. If you go to pages, and if I click here, and if I go back to the attributes, so page attributes, if I say hello I am Harry, and if I update it, and if I reload my page, you'll see that this will be changed to hello I am Harry. So I'm waiting for it to change. As you can see, it is changed to hello I am Harry, which means it was not coming from the source code directly, rather it was coming from the CMS. So we can pull the content and we can populate the content. Same thing can be done here. We can have some other attribute values. We can create another attribute which will be called description. So you can go to settings and you can say I want to create another attribute, and this is DESC, and this is being created for pages. And then again you'll edit this. So for pages we have a DESC attribute as well, and we'll say DESC marker also DESC, and this will be a string. Let's create it. And now if you go to pages and if you go to this attributes, you can actually populate it. So we'll say DESC, and I will put this description, and in place of this description, hero content or description, I'll say I don't want description, rather I'll say pages 0 dot attribute values dot DESC dot values. So if I reload this page, I hope that this works. Attribute values dot hi dot value. It says, what does it say? It says cannot read properties of undefined reading values. Let's see how the page is working. All right, so let's do one thing. We'll say question mark dot attribute values question mark dot, so that if it is not there, it will be undefined. And in the meantime, we are going to debug what the problem is. So this is how our pages are coming. If we go to attribute values, there is a DESC, and then another attribute value is hi. So there should be two attribute values actually. So on this page, we just have a DESC and there is no hi. We will actually have to add DESC here. So we are going to add DESC here. Value is going to be, do you want to use it? Yes, we still want to use it. And value is going to be string. Let's save it. And after it is saved, we'll go back to our page. We'll click edit and we'll come back to attributes, and DESC will have a value. Home intro has this and DESC. So let's punch in the values here. So the value here will be this, and the value here is going to be hello I am Rockers Nelson, and this should work now. So the marker here is hi, marker here is DESC. Now if I come back here, you'll see that this hi as well as the DESC will be populated. So if I refresh here, you'll see that we have attribute values high and we have attribute values DESC, and both the values are populated. So you will see hi, I am Rocker Nelson, and also you will see this. Now I'll change this and show it to you that it is being changed. So I'll say I am Harry Nelson, and I'll say I am a dev. Instead of saying I am a freelancer, I'll say I am a dev. So it's still saving. Let's wait for it to save. It has saved. So I'll say I am dev, and I'll click somewhere outside so that it can save it. Now if I refresh, you'll see that this content is coming from my OneEntry CMS. So it's saying I am a dev, front-end React developer based in USA. Now we can do the same thing with about, we can do the same thing with contact, and our pages will function the way they should. Okay. Now if you have a lot of pages, you can create a dynamic route in Next.js and you can pull pages dynamically, but I was showing this just for demonstration. So you can complete your website in a very similar way. So we just saw that how attributes work. Now we are going to see how menus work. So let us say I want to show a menu. I'll call it footer menu, footer underscore menu, and I'll give it a marker of FM so that I can easily get it in my code. So I can use FM to get it in my code. I'll click on add, and this menu has been added. Now I can click here and I can add some pages to my footer menu. So let us say I want to add this home and I want to add this about to my footer menu, and both of these pages are added to my menu. I'll say show the menu so that all these pages will be shown inside this menu. I'll come back to my CMS page and I'll click on menus, and this is how you can get menus. So let's get the menu. So I'll come back to index and I'll say menu, and let's pull menus from OneEntry as well. And I'll say const value is equal to get menus by marker. We already have a FM marker inside our OneEntry CMS, and let's console log value as value. Okay. Let me double check. The name of the marker is FM. Here we have FM. Now let's refresh and we should see the menu. So it says menu is not defined. What's wrong? What's wrong? Okay. So instead of menu, we should say value. We'll reload and I am expecting to see a menu here, which I am not seeing. Okay. So this will be shown in the server side because get server side props run on server side. So we'll have to check here. And as you can see that we have this menu. This is titled as footer menu, and we can display this menu. If you want to see the value here, you can always see that. But I think the best use case of using this menu would be inside underscore app.js. So we can either do it here, or we can also pass this data to a component so that it can display the data of the menu. So what you will do is you will go to your footer and you will populate your footer with this menu, and then you can dynamically change the content and title of this menu. So this is how menus work in OneEntry. Alright, so now that we have learned about menus, let's implement one. So I'm going to come to components and I'm going to create a new component called footer. So let's call it footer.jsx. I'm going to write RAFCE, and let us say we have some styles on this footer, and let's say height is going to be 34 pixels and color is going to be white, and let's say we have background color is equal to this one, and also let's do text align center as my Llama Copilot is suggesting, and let's say copyright all rights reserved. Okay, and let's come back to index.js, and I'm going to say I want to add footer as well. So let's add a footer and let's import a footer. So I'll say import footer from components footer, and this is how the footer looks like. Copyright all rights reserved. Now let us say that I want to show a menu in my footer wherein we have Facebook and Twitter and all the other social URLs. Okay, so let's say this is called a menu prop, and I'm going to say I want to pass the menu prop, and I'll say menu is equal to, I'll say menu is equal to menu is equal to menus dot get menus dot by marker, and I'm going to give this as social marker. Okay, so the marker name is social. I'll come back to menu and I'm going to create a new menu. So I'll say name is social and marker is also social. Okay, So the marker is social, name is social. Let's create this menu. And after I create this menu, I'm going to open this menu. So let's open this menu social. And if you want to add some pages to this menu, you can simply do this. So I'm adding home to the menu and I'm adding about to the menu. For a while, let's assume that these are social pages, or let's say these are all the pages that exist in our CMS. Okay. And after I've done this, I will simply see how this menu looks like. So if I say console.log menu, and if I see how it looks like, just a moment, let's reload this page. So it says menu is not defined. Let me fix this. Menu is not defined. Menu is equal to this console.log menus. Okay, so let's reload this, and I guess it's going to work after we reload. Yes, it is working, and let's see if we have all the menus at place or not. So as you can see that this social menu has all the page URL. So you can see that this has page URL as home, this has page URL as about. So we'll simply pass this menu to footer. So we'll say menu is equal to menu, and we are going to simply map over this menu, and we'll say UL, and then we'll say menu dot map, and let's accept menu from the props. So we are going to accept the menu from the props, and then we'll say menu dot map, and after we say menu dot map, we are going to do this, and item dot page URL. This is what I want. So page URL is what I want. Okay, so key is page URL, and we are going to show the page URL, and let's see how it looks like. So menu.map is not a function. Okay, so menu.map is not a function. Let me see what is wrong here. So what I've done here is I've fetched the menu and I've passed menu.pages as props, and as you can see, we have passed this menu to the footer, and finally we are basically returning, we are saying a return li, and this is what we are returning, and this should be visible here. So it is not being visible here. Let me see what the problem is. Let's remove all these stylings, and instead of doing these stylings, we can simply return this UL as is. So I'll show you how it looks like. We can definitely make it better by styling, but this is how it looks like if we remove the styles. So I've styled it a bit, and this is how it looks like. You can always convert it to uppercase if you want. So you can do something like styles dot menu item dot item dot page URL dot to uppercase, and this is how it is going to look like after you have converted it to uppercase. So to uppercase is not a function. So if I have a string to uppercase, okay, C is capital, let me fix it, and this is how it's going to look like. And you can always say href is equal to, you can import link from next link. So I can say import link from next link, and I can add an href is equal to, and it's going to be item.page URL. Okay, and this is how you can show a menu. Now our menu is really very simple, but you can always show the menu as you want. Now our menu is really simple, but you can always add styles of your liking in your menu. So this is how it looks like. So you can have this menu here. You can always style it the way you want. So this is how menus work in OneEntry. Now I'll come back to forms, and we'll see how we can see forms in OneEntry. So in order to see how forms work in OneEntry, you can create a form. So I'll say contact form, contact underscore form, and marker will be CF. Marker is just so that you can very conveniently write the code. Now let's edit this menu, contact underscore form. Form title for the site is going to be contact us. This is what you are going to show on your website, and it has been saved successfully. Let's come back to form field, and we are going to create a template, and we'll say contact form, and we'll say CF, and we'll say for forms, for form, and we'll click on create. And once you do that, you should see your form. So if I come back to manage forms, there is a contact form. You can edit it, and you can add attributes to it. So we'll say contact form, form attributes, and we'll say CF, and here we are going to say for forms, and you can create it. And inside this for forms, we have this form attributes which we can populate. So if you want to add a new attribute, you'll say name and marker will be name, type is going to be string. And then let us say for some reason we want to take a number also, contact number. So we'll say contact and then we'll say contact and this is going to be integer. Okay, let's click on create. Let us say these are the only two fields. Or let's also add description and then we'll say DESC. And then do you want to use it? Yes, we want to use it. And this is going to be a string. Let's click on create. Now this form has been created. I'll come back to manage forms. And if you click on this pencil, if you go to form field, you can always choose a template. I want to choose my contact form template. And then you can select a set of attributes that these are the attributes that I want to use with my form. And then you can populate this form and you can store data. So this is how forms are going to work, and this form can easily be displayed on the website on the contact page. All right, so here comes the fun part. We have a form here and we want to fill this form so that the data gets directly into the OneEntry CMS. How do we do that is the question. Let's see how we are going to do it. So if I come to my OneEntry dashboard, you'll see I have a form here and the name of this form is contact form. What are the attributes of this contact form? I'll show you. Name, contact and DESC are the attributes. So name, contact and DESC. So I'll change it to name, contact and DESC. So let's come back to our contact page. This is our contact page. And as you can see that we have on submit is equal to send email. I'll change this to submit form and we are going to create this function. Oops, we are going to copy this and let me say const submit form is equal to, and we are going to write this function. But before that, I want to make sure that we have this form and input type is email, placeholder is email. Let me change this to type is equal to phone and let's say value is equal to form.phone. And what is form? Form is going to be a use state snippet. I'll remove this ref. I'll say use state snippet form set form is equal to use state and we are going to use an empty form. So form class name is equal to contact form, ID is equal to my form. We have a text and name is name here. And then once again, we have type is equal to phone here and name is phone here. Let's change name to contact and also let's change to DESC here, and this is going to be your description. Okay, and value is going to be, and we don't populate value like this, we populate value like this, form.DESC. So we have form.DESC, we have form.name, and we have form.phone. Okay, form.name, and we are going to add on change to all of these input tags. So let's copy this input. Let's change on change here as well, and let's on change here as well. And we'll say const on change, const handle change is equal to, and I'm waiting for my llama coder to suggest me some good code. And yes, I think it has done some good job here. Yeah, let's see if it works. So it says use state is not defined. We'll have to fix it by importing use state, and yeah. So if I reload, it says E is not defined. Okay. So let me change it to ANFN and E, and yeah, this should work now. Yeah, so if I type something here, it is changing. So in order to submit this form, I'm going to create an API, but before that, let's retrieve the data from the form. So whenever I have submitted this form, so let us say if I type something here and then I just type something here and then I type something here, I want to ensure that whenever we click on submit, the data is logged here. But before that, we'll have to click on e.prevent default and submit form. So we are saying on submit is equal to submit form. So whenever we are submitting the form, the data is getting reloaded. But this time when we are submitting the form, the page is not being reloaded because we have ensured e.prevent default. Now, as you can see that we have current, DESC and name here. I want to make sure that this email shows phone because we have altered everything except the placeholder. So let me say phone here. And once we have this data, I want to send this data to an API. So let's create an API in Next.js. So we have this pages, but we don't have an API. So let's create an API slash submit form.js, and this is going to be a backend API. Now I'm going to create this function as async, and I'll say let r is equal to await fetch and slash API slash submit form, and this is going to be a post request. So we are going to say method is post. So method is going to be post. So here I have the syntax for post request. So we have a name as form.name, and then we have contact as form.contact, and we have DESC as form.DESC, and here in our API we have just set request.body. So let's see if we are hitting submit, are we getting this object or not? Yes, we are getting this object. So all we need to do now is submit this to OneEntry. So we are going to import define OneEntry from OneEntry. So here I have said let res is equal to await r.json. So basically we are putting a post request on this, and our endpoint looks something like this. This is a syntax for posting data to OneEntry. As you can see, we have data, we have form identifier, we have value is equal to form data.post form data, which is used to post the data to OneEntry CMS. Let's see if this is working or not. So as you can see that I have this form. So I'll refresh this. I'll say name is Harry, and then phone is 77777777777, and this hey I am good, and let's hit submit. So the moment I hit submit, I should see something in the console here itself. And as you can see, we have an object. Let's try to open this object, and it has form data. So we basically have submitted the form. So now let's check the CMS if we have the data there or not. So if I go to managing forms, and if I go to contact form, let's click on this pencil, and let's click on data sent by form. You'll see that the data that I've submitted has been punched here. So we have this Harry, we have this phone number, and we have this DESC. The last thing that I want to do here is that I want to make sure that this form is reset. So I'll say set form. I'll say set form, and I'll set this form to an empty form so that we don't see any data here after we have submitted. So let's once again try to submit this form, and let's say hey I am good, how are you doing, I need to inquire about, let us say this is a website on my portfolio, about a website I want you to build. Okay, so let's click on submit, and the moment I click on submit, this data has not yet cleared. Let me see why this has happened. So submit form. So the problem here is that we have this ref is equal to form here. So we'll have to make sure that this ref is not creating problems. So it seems that this ref is not creating problems now. And also I want to add one more thing. I want to add alert data has been submitted successfully. Okay, so data has been submitted successfully, and then we have this submit, and let's reload this page once again. I want to reload this, and I'll simply say Harry, and then we have this phone number, and then we have this hey as message. Now let's click on submit. Data has been submitted successfully, and the moment I click on OK, I'm expecting this form to clear up, but it is not clearing up. So this is something to worry about. Let me see why it is not working. So I'll change the initial value of this form to an object which has all the entries as blank, and then I'll do the same here, and it will be working because at this point the name, DESC and contact are getting undefined here in the form. So let's reload this page yet again, and let's try to fill this form again, and let me see what this error is. Default value or value props instead of setting children on text area. Okay, got it. So let's not set the children in text area because React is suggesting us to not do that. So let's do value is equal to form.desc. Let's do it this way, and we should not have any errors now. Let's reload the page, and yes, we don't have any errors now. Let's say Harry, and then let's try to fill this again, and let's try to fill hey, and the moment I click submit, the data is getting submitted and it says uncaught in promise. So this time if I fill the form and if I say hey and if I click on submit, the form is getting cleared and the data is getting submitted. So this is how everything works, and this is how you work with forms in OneEntry. So if you want to fetch the data from the forms, we can create an endpoint and we can create a get endpoints, and we can say get forms.js. And so in order to get the data from the form, we'll have to use this endpoint, which is get forms data, and it takes let's use this one, get forms data by marker, and the first argument is marker, second argument is enus, which is lang code. So we'll change this to form data dot get forms data by marker. Then we have form identifier, and let's see if this works. So we'll say localhost API get forms, and yes, it is getting me all the information. So if you want to see all the information of the forms, you can see this way. Now again, you'll have to protect this endpoint if you are using it publicly, but this is how you get the data from the forms. So this is how forms work in OneEntry. I hope you were able to understand, and I hope that now you'll be able to implement any form in OneEntry. So I hope that you were able to understand how OneEntry works, and how this OneEntry is useful for storing your content and how it can cater to your content needs. I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you so much guys for watching this video, and I will see you next time.